Hey there you guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my channel if you are new. If you are new, hi, I'm Abigail. I make Christian videos every week to help you guys to let the truth be told over your guys' lives. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about singleness. And I'm also going to be talking about the reason why I wrote the spoken word that I wrote and uploaded last Sunday. Now, if you guys did not get a chance to watch that video, I really suggest that you guys go and watch that. I will put it in the link in the description box as well as possibly putting it up in the cards. So you guys can go watch that video and whatnot. And yeah, so I'm just going to be talking about like the story behind why I wrote that video. So if you guys are new and you guys haven't done so already, you guys can click that subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you guys will be notified every time I upload a new video. If you guys are new, you guys don't know this, I recently launched clothing and I really love it. I love the sweatshirt. I also got the t-shirt as well and I really love the clothing. I'm also going to be making more here in the new year, just working on that. That will be coming out hopefully in the spring or summer. So yeah, stay tuned for that news. Alright, so with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into what you guys are here for. Backstory, all the details. Alright, so I kind of wanted to go backwards in time to the ages like between like 6th grade to like early middle school to like beginning of high school, so like freshman and like a tiny bit of my sophomore year. I think it was mostly like my freshman year. During that time, I really struggled with like accepting that I was single and like being okay with that. And now here's the thing that I find to be really funny, and you guys probably won't laugh at this, some of you guys might. I was young and like part of me wants to go back and tell like my 12-year-old self like, hey, you're 12. You're not gonna get married anytime soon, and if you do, you've gotta wait at least 6 years, and you gotta wait at least 6 years, and you might not even have a relationship for that long. Like 6 years? Yeah, right. It's not common, okay? So anyways, during that time, I really just struggled with being okay with being single. I thought that I had to be in a relationship to be happy. I thought I had to be in a relationship to be lonely. I thought that marriage was the end goal for my life. And I really idolized the marriage and the idea of being in a relationship. And I feel like that happens a lot in the church. And I think that I've even talked to friends of mine who think that, you know, you're supposed to be married by the time, you know, before you're 20, or by the time you're like 21, like you have to be married young. And I just don't think that's true. I also struggled with just really like romanticizing marriage and romanticizing relationship. And I feel like in society we get told a lot about marriage being this like over the rainbow, beautiful thing. Now, while it is beautiful, there are going to be hiccups in it. And I can't say that from experience, but I say that from viewing other people's relationships, I guess, if that makes sense. And I feel like we view marriage as this one scene from Snow White where Prince Charming kisses Snow White and she wakes up from this sleep, and you know, they ride off into this sunset and they're like going to the castle, and it literally looks like they're going to heaven. Like they're together and they're going off, and you know, all the dwarfs are like saying farewell, and you know, they have this happily ever after. I don't think that's the way marriage works. I mean, come on, we're in this sinful world. Like, it's not gonna be perfect. And so I just had this very idea of marriage that this was gonna be like the best thing ever. The thing is that I was still single at the time, and I just thought like I just wanted marriage to go ahead and hurry up. Like, I wanted to grow up and to get married and, you know, have kids and to raise a family, because that was just like my dream. When I was in like my freshman year of high school, I really had this thought that I started wrestling with, and that thought was, what if marriage isn't in the plan books? That's kind of where the line came in. What if marriage isn't the plan for the rest of your life? Are you cursed? And that was some questions that I wrestled with a lot, because I felt as though singleness was this cursed time. I just thought of it as this really horrible season, and I thought, I want to get out. I don't want to be in this season. I want to just dream and hope that this season can just hurry up and leave. In that time, I just really wrestled with that. I thought, like, I want this season to be over. I don't like this. And at one point I had to realize, like, okay, I can't live my life like as though I'm going to be getting married, by the age 20. Now, while that may happen, I don't know, it could. I don't know, my future husband could be watching this video for all I know. Even if I have one. If I don't, then that's okay. But I ended up having to realize, like, I can't just sit around and wait and think I'm gonna, wait for my future spouse and all of those kinds of things. Like, I need to live each day with God. Like, and I came to the point realizing, who's number one in your life? Is it God, or is it this future spouse that might not even be like, it might not even be a real person? And so I really played around with that thought, and I kept on, like, asking God, like, take away this idol in my life. Like, I idolize whoever this person could be, and whoever this person might be, or if this person even exists, whatever it is, or whoever it is, or if it is, I'm idolizing it. And I had to take a step back and realize, like, hey, like, God is number one. God is number one in your life. That was a hard switch to make. It was hard to kind of go from me dreaming and daydreaming about when I was gonna walk down the aisle. So I had to get out of that. I had to, like, step out of that idolatry of marriage. And it was hard, and there's times where that desire still comes up and stuff. And I'm not saying that my desire of marriage has just poofed, it's gone. It's more so not constantly thinking about that desire. That desire for marriage is still existent, and I still would love to get married. But I also have made God's plans higher than my own, and that's something that you have to choose each day. You have to choose each day, waking up saying, I'm going to choose living for you over getting married one day. There's this one thing that I've heard people say online, and I really don't like it because it bugs me to the core. They're like, well, what if, God is just using this time of singleness to prepare you for your spouse? And it's like, no. Like, so you're gonna prepare yourself for another sinful man? Like, or woman? Like, that makes zero sense, Like, why would you prepare yourself for another sinful person? Why not prepare yourself for when you see the face of God? Why not prepare yourself and become a better person for Jesus because of your love for Jesus, not your love for some other sinful person? Like, you see what I'm saying? And I remember writing, like, in those, like, dear future husband type of things when I was younger, and I would write down how I really wanted to see my future spouse, and how I wanted to meet him, and how I was practicing being more selfless for him. And looking back at those, I'm like, why are you practicing being selfless for another selfish person? Like, why not try to be more like Christ for Christ, Anyways, that's just my little spiel on that time in my life. Recently, what really intrigued me to be writing this poem as of recently was I finished the book Gay Girl Good God. I actually think it's a very beneficial book for you to read. That book talks a lot about lesbianism and all this kind of stuff. And Jackie Hill Perry is an amazing author. I love her books. I love her Jude Bible study. I love her music and a lot of her stuff on YouTube. But one of the things she talks about is how Christians tend to idolize marriage, thinking that marriage is this goal in your life. And she ends up talking about how a lot of people will tell people that are gay or lesbianism that, you know, if you convert to Christianity, you know, all of your desires for, you know, somebody of the same sex is going to go away. And she's like, that's not true. Like, you're not just going to like, whoop, you're going to automatically fall in love with some guy and then get married. And she talks a lot about that in her book, and she talked about how being single isn't a bad thing in your life. It's not something that's just horrible. And she was saying Jesus was single, and I'm gonna add this in there, Paul was single and he did just fine. He didn't have any problem. And so when I finished reading that book, I had always put the singleness type of videos up on the shelf because I thought in my head that I had to have at some point been in a relationship and have broken up to understand singleness. And I sat there and I thought, who told me that? Well, nobody did. I told myself that I had to wait to talk about singleness until I wasn't single. And I thought, how many people are here on YouTube talk about singleness while they're single? And honestly, the only one I can think of that talked about singleness while she was single was Jami Grace. And by the way, when I was younger and when she had a lot more videos talking about just singleness, I loved watching her videos. And I'll link her channel in the description box, and you just gotta scroll through and find some good ones that are from like 2017-ish and 2018. Yeah, like, how many people on YouTube talk about singleness while they're still single? Most people that talk about singleness in the Christian perspective are all married people. In that moment, I was like, I really prayed about it, and I was like, God, is this what you're wanting me to do? So at night, I was like really like just praying like whether or not God really wanted me to talk about singleness, and God was like, go for it. Like, you're single right now. You might be single for the rest of your life, or you may never get this time back. So why not embrace it now and talk about it now? I think it's sometimes still kind of a struggle to talk about singleness on camera and to upload it to YouTube because I've never dated anybody. I am single and I love it. A couple years ago, I would have never thought for me to say that I love it. I don't view it as a curse anymore. I actually really enjoy it. I think it's awesome that I'm single and I'm in high school and I've never dated anybody in high school. And I actually really enjoy it. Like, honestly. And that was my view of singleness. Or like, that was like my view of singleness back when I was younger. And so I wrote down like the depths and the core of what I thought of singleness as I was younger. And then this next part of it, this is just the beginning of me writing. So this is like the first bit that I ever wrote. And when I talked about marriage, I talked about it from my perspective now of what I look at it as, or like what I've seen it become in single people, if that makes sense. Not necessarily that marriage is bad, but I think you'll get the point. When you read it, when you watch the actual video itself, you'll get it. And that, my friends, was the start of what ended up turning into a poem that I wrote. And I'm really proud of that poem that I wrote. I feel like it really cut to the core of a lot of things that I believed when I was younger. And I see now that I didn't see back then, of how God was using those brokenness and that hard time in my life for me to now be able to talk about it with confidence, and knowing that God is bigger than and greater than every other thing that I could ever imagine. That sounds kind of corny to say, but it's so true. So true. I really wanted to end this video out by saying a couple of words. I really want this to be clear. Like, pretend like you're in here sitting here and maybe you're struggling with singleness yourself and you're like, I don't know what to do. I want you to pretend like you're in the room with me right now, and I want to tell you this, that this time was a gift from God. You can use it dreaming and striving and hoping for marriage, or you can use it to live for God to the fullest. That's really what I learned, or I've been learning in this time of singleness, is that you can use this time to spend time with God, work on habits, doing so many different things with it. I pray that this video encouraged you guys. It was a really hard video to film, to talk about the story, talk about my struggles and all those kinds of things. If you guys would like more singleness videos, let me know in the comments, and you guys could put in certain requests if you guys have specific questions. And if I get enough questions, I could make a Q&A on singleness. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you guys would like to see next, whether that be in singleness or whether that be something else. But with that being said, I'll catch you guys all in my next video. Bye guys.